Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on the DAZN. Mike Ridout joins me. Good to see you, mate. How are you keeping?
Very good. Very good, thank you. Yeah, very good. Very excited. It's been a great day. Had Frank and Eddie here all day and doing various bits of media. It's just an exciting time for us. So, great day.
Do you still look at the Frank and Eddie relationship and go, I can't quite believe it, even though we're, 18 months, 2 years deep to them two being quote mark friends, quote mark?
It is quite extraordinary, really, and you almost think it's a bit of a shame it didn't happen sooner. Obviously great for you guys that it probably didn't happen sooner. Created you many clicks, many headlines, and those have probably slowed down a little bit. But I think actually the result is that we're going to have great fights. We've had some great fights in Riyadh season, and now we're just going to have even better fights on DAZN with the two of them talking, working together. So I think ultimately it's great for the fans that this is happening.
Yeah, obviously you know the pair very well individually and obviously now together as a unit. Do you see like a team cohesion between the two, or is it just work, still big competition, or do you see like a team cohesion, especially now obviously Queensbury and DAZN is kicking off?
Yeah, I think so. And we hope so as well. The funny thing that Eddie often says is that Barry consistently said to him, you will get on really well with Frank if you actually just bloody well meet with each other. So I think that's happened. It's naturally happened. You know, obviously His Excellency sort of brought them together, certainly encouraged it to happen. And now it seems, anyway to me, that they get on great. And as I say, it's great for business. It's good for their business. It's ultimately good for our business. And as I say, really, really pays off for the fans because ultimately the fans are going to win because the best fights are going to happen.
I don't know if it's more shocking to boxing fans that the pair are friends now or that they're on the same network eventually. If you had to pick, let's take it back to, say, 2020, 2019, where there was, like you said, some attacks on each other on our cameras. What would have been more likely, do you think, the pair working together or ending up on the same network?
Well, they kind of go hand in hand, don't they? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, the thing about DAZN is the investment that we've made in boxing. It's kind of just it grows and grows. And, you know, we've seen the success on our platform of how when you bring together the best promoters into one place, you can make the best fights happen. The best fights happening is going to drive a bigger audience, more of an interest, and lead to better things. So, look, I don't know what was more likely back then. I'm just pleased it's happened now.
Yeah, and how good to kick off Frank's schedule on April the 5th with what was meant to be Dillian Whyte, Joe Joyce, and we know things don't run as smoothly in boxing as you'd like them to at times, but Filip Hrgović, Joe Joyce is just as good, if not in some people's minds, a better replacement fight. A brilliant show in April to kick off Frank's beings with DAZN.
Really exciting, and you know, unfortunately, it's the nature of the boxing business that you announce certain things and then there are changes. It's frustrating, but we're grateful to everybody that we've still got a really, really strong card, as you say. In fact, the public reaction was, you know, to your point, is this a stronger fight? It's certainly as strong, that's for sure. So it's great that Joe's taking on Filip, and they've both got a lot to prove. I think people look past Hrgović after the Dubois performance. You know, he's still, I think, only 32, only lost once. So, you know, he's got a lot to prove. And obviously Joe wants to get back into the big time after maybe a difficult 2024. So I think a great fight. And then you're going to see three really, really good competitive fights. You've got a Yorkshire versus Yorkshire, you've got a Yorkshire versus Lancashire, you've got plenty of unbeaten fighters. You've got a little bit of Queensbury versus Boxer in Adelaide versus TKV, and you've got the debut of Delicious Ori. So all in all, whilst there have been, you know, some kind of headline pullouts, we've ended up, I think, with a really, really strong show and a great start to the Queensbury run on DAZN.
Yeah, you mentioned Delicious Ori, and that takes me, I guess, to this weekend and Pat Brown. We love the big fights, the big lights and whatnot, but you've got to blood for the future so that we can sit here in 10 years and go, Pat Brown and Delicious Ori are in these big fights, world titles, unifications. How excited are you to see that next, I guess, generation come through? And Frank's been brilliant at blooding fighters and taking them to the right places. But in Pat Brown and Delicious Ori, they're just two of many that are going to come through. And I guess aim to be DAZN headliners, of course, one day.
Yeah, look, we're at a period now where many of the established names are coming towards the latter stage of their career. You can probably list a handful of them. So, you know, there needs to be the next wave. And in Delicious and in Pat and a few other names, you know, these guys are hopefully the future and the future DAZN stars. You know, Pat has got a really big following in Manchester, was a very competitive signature, and Matchroom obviously won that race. So we look forward to Friday night and his debut on DAZN.
Yeah, in terms of signatures that you mentioned, obviously Frank and Queensbury, what comes with having them involved with DAZN is one thing. But is it the fact that there's so many fighters, perhaps I guess on long-term deals that Frank's got, that you know are going to be at least for the foreseeable DAZN fighters? Having Frank's one thing, but it's the stable that comes with it. So you look at Frank's stable at the moment, and domestically, pretty strong.
Amazingly strong, particularly in the heavyweights. And he's made a real strategy and play over the last few years to develop that heavyweight boxing stable. And he's, you can't argue with what he's developed. But Frank, of course, is a legend. So what comes with that is obviously his status, Hall of Fame boxing promoter. But so you're investing in two things. You are investing in him, but of course you're investing in the fighters, because ultimately these are the guys that need to get in the ring and drive our numbers. So it's a great package to get Frank, but also his stable. It's a good deal.
I've got to ask about the 5v5. I feel like there was some noise. The noise has gone away a bit, but anytime you put Queensbury versus Matchroom, you could do a five-a-side team with the staff. Yeah. And just because it's Queensbury Matchroom, there's something there. Are we going to get, do you think, a 5v5 this year? Because obviously last year was massively successful, and obviously massively successful for Frank as well.
I think he's mentioned it once or twice since. Look, I don't know if that's going to happen this year, and I don't think we necessarily need to be so prescriptive over 5v5. The great thing is now you've got Queensbury and Matchroom on the same platform, and don't forget our other great number of promoters, including Golden Boy and Misfits. So, we will see definitely some bouts between Queensbury fighters and Matchroom fighters and Golden Boy fighters, and that just benefits us as a platform, and of course, as I said, at the start, the fans. So look, we will see many different challenges and battles ahead between Queensbury and Matchroom. And just as a starting point, they're going to battle each other in ratings. They want to put on the best shows. So that's great for us. That's what we want. We want those guys to keep battling internally and externally to ensure that who drives the best audience. Yeah. And of course, we'll see those fighters fighting each other as well.
Yeah. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Diego Pacheco going into Dalton Smith, and there was kind of the whole 8 hours of boxing? Could we get perhaps a Queensbury UK show that just kind of moulds and merges into like a Matchroom US show that I guess comes as perhaps an advertisement package where you can get, here's your 8 hours of boxing. Definitely. You start with a big Queensbury UK show, your big names, your heavyweights, and you fly into some of Eddie's US stars. Well,
look, we're going to do over 185 boxing events live on DAZN this year. So, of course, every Saturday night when you tune into DAZN, you're generally going to get a UK show and a US show. Whether it be Queensbury followed by Matchroom US, or whether it be Queensbury followed by Golden Boy, or whether it's Matchroom UK followed by Golden Boy, that's ultimately the plan. We want people to tune into DAZN and stay with us for a whole night's of entertainment. So, do that.
And you've got promoter exclusivity, but fighter exclusivity with some big names as well. Global home of boxing is the tagline, but it's pretty hard to deny that tagline. If we're being honest, exclusivity with big name fighters as well, ones that everyone from your hardest of boxing fans to your casual audience will want to tune in to see.
Of course, yeah. Look, it's not just a tagline; it's something that we have to deliver against, and of course, we do that, and we do that on a weekly basis. You look at our schedules in April and May; it's just unbelievably strong, and what we've got to announce for June and July is possibly even better. So, really good times ahead for our subscribers, and just great for the sport, great for boxing fans. And you just need one subscription now. You come to DAZN and you're going to see every fight you want to see.
Yeah. Can I get you to do the Eddie Hearn style roll off of the schedule?
I can definitely not do it as good as Eddie, but I will tell you we have got...
Not many can, I will say. I'll give him that.
No, he's in a class of one. So we've got March 28th. This weekend we've got Pat Brown. We roll into April 5th in Manchester, Joyce Hergovich. We then go to Dalton Smith is on the 19th. Eubank Ben, massive fight, can't wait for that, on the 26th of April. Then you go forward a week, you've got 2 more pay-per-view events, brilliant fights. Garcia Romero, then to Saudi Arabia, Canelo Skull. Then you go May 10th to Nottingham, Kakachi Wood. Cannot wait for that event, it's going to be absolutely brilliant. And then May 17th, the Copper Bosch. When that fight was announced, we didn't really think we would be seeing 2 or 3 months later, the rematch that we all wanted to see, but I can't wait for that. And then May 24th, you're going to be up in Scotland for Taylor Esserman, which is just an absolute cracker. Josh Taylor's debut in Queensbury. We'll all take a break on May 31st and watch the Champions League final, and then June starts. And as I say, we're going to have an amazing June and July, so we can't wait for that.
Not bad. Gave Eddie a slight run for the money.
Yeah, maybe.
Not quite Mr. Hearn. Just finally, obviously, I know you'll have things to announce, and there'll be things that you know that obviously we can't yet, and there'll be real excitement about those announcements. How big is beyond that brilliant schedule going to be? What sort of big stuff are we going to get? And how exciting is your middle period of the year going to be?
You just have to look at the fighters that we haven't announced yet, both in the Queensberry stable, but also in Matchroom, who haven't got a fight booked. The likes of Dubois, the likes of Wardley, the likes of AJ, you know what's going to happen to him. So, these guys you're going to see on DAZN in the second half of the year, and they're all going to be in brilliant, brilliant fights. So it's great times ahead.
It's one of those fights, AJ Jake Paul.
You'll have to ask them. I would be surprised, but you never know.